Hi, Jacob Field here for market observations for the local government area of Okaparinga in South Australia. Now, before I dive into the content today, I've got a really special announcement to make, because if you like this type of analysis, if you like this type of property investment research, then we have just released a detailed end-to-end property investment system. It is literally my life's work. It is everything that I have learned and known as almost 20 years as a property investor, all the learnings that we have formed from Ripehouse Advisory, private advisory across Ripehouse for over 10 years in operation, all of our trade secrets and the exact methodology, research and system that we use to purchase many hundreds of millions of dollars worth of assets, many thousands of properties over that 10-year period. There is nothing left off the table. We call it the even playing field system because it is all of our research, all of our data, all of our algorithms, all of our systems, processes and learning for you to be able to digest and implement it. We call it the Spruiker Buster. It allows you and empowers you to level up your understanding of property investment and hold people to accountable in this industry, both for your own benefit in purchasing, but even if you are talking to other professionals, how you can hold them to account. So the link will be popping up here in a moment. It has been in the description down below of this video. Jump across to register for an online explainer discovery video where you can uncover the 3 pillars of this system and how you can implement those today for your benefit. So jump over there, really looking forward to taking you through this content and then obviously that wider education or system framework. So let's jump right in. Remember, property investment is a science. We need to take this approach with things, guys. We're going to be digging into a lot of the individual data points today that we use in private advisory, but we don't know the importance of them. We've got to start questioning this, and I'm going to be talking to you about that today. So let's jump right in. I'm going to skip through these quite quickly. Okaparinga, south of Adelaide area. It's along the beach. It has been going through a great growth period over the last 5 or so years. You know, some markets have really performed very strongly. And for those of you that haven't been living under a rock, South Australia, well, Adelaide itself has been going through a very strong growth cycle in the last couple of years. We've bought hundreds of properties there in the last 3 or so or 4 years for clients or clients of other professionals that we do work with. We have done very well through those acquisitions across the board. So with that in mind and that context, health, education diversity is average. It's okay. We're supported by a larger capital city. No issues here. Income growth is very low. Okay, that's a red flag for us. In terms of a capital city, I would expect it to be a little bit better than this. Adelaide overall, typically long-term has slower income growth. So overall with the city, it's not necessarily a large red flag, but it's on a national level. I would probably expect income growth to be a little bit better than it is here. The commute time, a lot of people commuting to the CBD to the north into Adelaide, and there is some localised employment. So this is great for South Australia, it's great for a capital city, and it's really particularly good for somewhere that has these lifestyle factors, beach access, and this type of commute time is something that is quite acceptable in Australian capital cities. So very good here. Let's go through this quickly. Look, this is COVID related, guys. We've got unemployment going up and down across the country at the moment. It has gone back up again in recent times. Let's just see how that comes out in the wash. We know we have extremely low unemployment, essentially full employment across the country at the moment. So unemployment's not really generally an issue for us. We're in a mid-socio area of South Australia. So unemployment, we typically don't have too many issues here. For me, I'm happy to move past this as a recent upwards trend here. Overall, excellent new projects, very good new projects, both on a per capita spend and in an actual dollar spend. We've got some really good improvements happening across Adelaide and the greater South Australia area, really punching above its weight. For those of you who have been to Adelaide in recent years, it is a pristine city. It is brand new. You look at all the buildings, all the public infrastructure, the highways, a lot of these big ticket items, and it is You can still see the shiny new car fuel across them all. And this is not stopping. We've got some great new projects in the pipeline for South Australia. A lot of really positive things happening. Obviously, here we are down here in the south. We've got great access into the city. We've got a lot of those things that we need and want to live around when we are in Australia. So the accessibility of these things are very good. Population pressure. Generally, South Australia is a low, has a lower amount of population growth than other states. It's typically thought of as old money. You're there in South Australia, you earn generally good incomes, and we don't have a huge amount of net population increases. And that's not really set to change. This local government area overall, we're under 1% population growth. That's very low nationwide, but for South Australia, it is pretty normal, okay? South Australia has different drivers for capital growth typically. So once again, low population growth here. And that's something that we tend to expect in South Australia. Versus supply, it is a relatively balanced local government area. There are pockets of supply we do need to be careful of, but overall, it is quite a balanced market. And we are projecting, relatively healthy population growth for the next 3 years for South Australia, or in terms of other areas in South Australia, of around that 1% per annum. So overall, for South Australia, or in South Australian terms, population growth is not too bad, and it's on average across the country. There are pockets though here, guys. 38% new homes being built in some of these areas. We have to be very careful of this. Generally overall, the closer you get to the beach, the less supply, the less risk of new homes being constructed. This is just McLaren Vale itself, and then just inland there are some new housing estates, just towards the water there are some housing estates we do need to be careful of. Even individual suburbs in themselves, 19.4% supply coming in into a particular suburb. So we do have to be careful with that map overall. Take a screenshot of that and plot it out onto a Google map and pick those points, guys, because we do need to be careful with some of these suburbs. Overall, let's summarise this. At the moment, we are looking at our 3 to 5 year modelling, okay? So this is a longer term, more higher level view. This is about the where to invest. Overall, this is punching pretty well above its weight in the top 78% of all areas across the country. It is rated as good predicted performance. Across the whole country, this is right up there. You can do better, but you can definitely do a lot worse. And for me, this is one of those local government areas that has been in vogue in the Adelaide market over the last couple of years. Okay, so overall, looking good from a longer term where perspective. Let's dive into the individual buying window, the when. This is a 1 year model, and we're starting to do some shorter term analysis. Is it the right time to be purchasing in this market? So we look at the on-market activity. Firstly, we're looking at the buy side, the purchase analysis. Here we've got days on market, very low and just trending upwards in the last couple of months. So this is now going to be something we want to look at. What's been happening in the last month or two? And it's just starting to trend upwards. A little bit of steam being depressurized from the system. We've had a number of immediate sales trending downwards also over the last 2 months. And we have had a stock inventory increase 1, 2, 3, 4 months. And then it's just decreased a little bit in the last month or so. But overall, the trend is the steam is releasing out of this market throughout 2022. This is 1 month here where it is an exception and not the rule. Overall, we are seeing this trend really focusing on the last 2 months in particular. We've seen houses as the line I look at, very low days of remaining supply, but it has popped up again in the last 2 months. This is something that is a bit of a flag emerging for me. Asking prices have consistently pushed and pushed and pushed. Over the last 12 months, we've seen them move from under $450,000 now up to almost $550,000 in asking price. So obviously we've experienced a lot of positive price pressure in this market, and we've had properties selling for almost 20% above the asking price. That is unprecedented. That means South Australian real estate agents really don't know what is going on, and the market is extremely heated. We look at this green line for houses though, and the discounting rate has come off these extremely high levels, and the pressure has been easing. It's really coming back to earth very quickly. So this is a strong signal that we are coming towards a market peak. And lo and behold, prices have been selling for up towards $600,000 and they've just stopped in the last month or so. So all of these signals are in alignment. Apart from this one, we have seen immediate supply, we've seen days on market pressure releasing, immediate sales pressure releasing. Over time, stock inventory all the way back to January through to June, we've seen pressure releasing here as well. Days of supply is just starting to pop up and would expect that trend to continue. And guess what? We've now reached a market top when you look at this type of data and analysis. Which data point is more relevant? Okay, I'm going into a little bit of details here, and it's in an area that we're not focusing on in private advisory. Okay, this is not a buy point for us. Okay, I'm going into very high level detail with this. In the even playing field system, so the Ripehouse Academy even playing field system, there is almost 25 hours of TV production quality and content where we dive into this in extreme detail. Okay, it's for beginner investors, sophisticated investors alike. It's in very digestible format that arms you with the types of information that we use here in private advisory every day. We spend 4 hours doing a deep dive into all of the algorithms and data points we use. We give you a 101 introduction to data science to begin with, artificial intelligence, and then we talk to you about every single data point we use in private advisory, which ones are more important and why. Because some of these data points I've talked through today are a factor of 6 or 8 times more important than others that we talk about today. So when you see these very low sophisticated buyers agents or public advisors or researchers in the public forum talking about, they might be trying to talk about Townsville, an area they're focusing on, and they have 6 or 8 data points they are using to make a point. They find these data points to be telling a story, and then they construct that story. They treat them with equal weightages, okay? But they are extremely different in terms of the impact they have on predicted price performance. We need to know this. We need to cut through and hold these people to account in this industry. That's why we are calling this system the even playing field system. Nothing is left off the table. If you would like to learn the 3 pillars of this system, join us for a special introductory explainer video in the show notes here. As a pop-up here, we'll put the link for you to drive straight in there and view this content within the next 2 seconds. So just bear that in mind, guys. It's really important to make those points. This truly is my life's work. So there's nothing that I know or have learnt in the last almost 20 years as an investor in private advisory that we leave off the table. It all has to be open sourced. It's like Elon Musk did with Tesla. For the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of investors in Australia, we need to open source all of the intelligence that we have, all of the research, all of the findings, all of the strategy, all of the structure. So let's go in here to the rental side of the equation. The data is telling us now we've reached a market top. Days on rental market is dropping. There is still rental pressure here, guys. But vacancy rates are just moving upwards over the last couple of months. Having said that, they are still extremely tight. So we see a lot of rental pressure here. This is a concern for me though, guys. The asking rent has decreased just in the last couple of months. We've seen the pressure dissipate on the buy side. It's also happening here. So even with very strong vacancy rates, very low vacancy rates, we have seen some steam move out of this rental side of the market. That's a bearish signal for me, especially when you have this really, chronic shortages of housing available for rent. It's showing that the local population really don't have a willingness to pay any more. Let's see if that trend continues. If this is a short-term correction, then it might pop up here and we might have a buy zone in the next 3 or 6 months. But for me, it is a watch and a wait. We've hit a market peak in this market through a very strong cycle, and all the indications are showing to me that this is going to be a consolidation period for probably a year or so at a minimum. Overall, the opportunity for the next 3 to 5 years is good, but we just have to watch and wait in this market. This is pretty much applicable to the wider Adelaide market as well, guys. So this local government area is a very similar story to most of the other local government areas across Adelaide. So we've probably missed our buying window in this area, in this capital city. There are other better opportunities right as of today. All right, so if you find this content useful, it would mean a huge amount to me if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and like this content. If you would like us to focus on any other areas, then comment below. We can pull this research and focus on them and do this market observations content for that area as well. Any questions, we can man the comment section and we'll be back to you with our responses. Love your work. I'd really like to see you over in the Even Playing Field System Explainer video. We're there to support you with that endeavour as well. Thank you.